The previous discussion highlighted the need for a balanced approach to industrial policy, emphasizing the importance of non-fragile dependence in critical categories. Now, let's delve deeper into the urgent requirements of Tesla, GM, and Ford. These automotive giants are at a crossroads, needing a transition plan that ensures the uninterrupted flow of imports while negotiating U.S. tariffs. Without this, a single component could halt production, leading to skyrocketing costs for consumers. Imagine the tension in the factories as workers rush to meet deadlines, the hum of machinery echoing through the air. The stakes are high. If these companies can synchronize their efforts to secure availability in the short term, they can build the necessary capacity in the medium term and diversify their production architecture in the long run. But what happens if they falter? The market could face chaotic price fluctuations and delivery delays, leaving consumers frustrated and confused. The burning question remains, will they choose to link tariffs to a concrete timeline, or will they allow uncertainty to reign? The answer lies in a strategic industrial plan that prioritizes stability over conflict. If they can navigate this complex landscape, the domestic market may find its footing again. But if they stray from this path, the repercussions could be dire, with waves of price hikes crashing down on consumers. As we look ahead, the urgency intensifies. The automotive industry must act decisively. The clock is ticking, and the pressure mounts. Will they rise to the challenge? Or will a small part bring the entire system to its knees? The fate of the market hangs in the balance, and the next moves will determine whether stability or chaos prevails. The previous segment highlighted the significant financial impact of delays caused by the materials bottleneck affecting various industries, including automotive, energy, and defense. As the debate over prioritization intensifies, public projects and defense orders vie for limited resources, creating a complex web of costs and delays. Now, imagine a world where the automotive industry faces a critical crossroads. If energy and defense projects take precedence, what happens to the production lines of Tesla, GM, and Ford? The stakes are high, and the pressure is mounting. The solution isn't a battle for resources but a strategic increase in capacity. Temporary exemptions based on product and country could be the lifeline needed to keep production flowing smoothly. But what if these measures fail? The consequences could be dire, halting production and skyrocketing costs. As consumers eagerly await their vehicles, they only see the delivery dates and price tags, oblivious to the intricate dance of negotiations behind the scenes. The narrative is deceptively simple, yet the reality is fraught with tension. In the medium term, establishing a robust permanent magnet supply chain in the U.S. is essential. This involves a meticulous process from alloying to the final magnet, requiring significant investment and adherence to quality standards. Some facilities are already ramping up metal production, aiming for an annual capacity of around 10,000 tons. While this is a promising start, it barely scratches the surface of the needs of the three automotive giants. The path forward appears to be a hybrid model, blending domestic production with scheduled imports. But will this be enough to stabilize the market? Recycling emerges as a crucial component of this transition, offering a way to alleviate pressure on raw materials. However, establishing a meaningful recycling industry requires logistics, quality control, and traceability. The initial benefits may be seen in service and spare parts, but can it truly support mainstream production? As the clock ticks, the automotive industry must navigate these turbulent waters. The question looms, can they adapt quickly enough to avoid a catastrophic disruption? The answer may lie in their ability to manage costs and ensure availability. But with uncertainty hanging in the air, the risk of a supply chain breakdown remains ever present. What will happen next? The tension is palpable, and the stakes have never been higher. In the evolving landscape of electric vehicles, Tesla, GM, and Ford have all embraced permanent magnet technology to enhance efficiency and performance. However, this reliance on a single component has created a precarious situation. What happens when a political threat, like a 200% tariff, looms over these manufacturers? The stakes are high, and the consequences could ripple through the entire automotive industry. As Ford integrates permanent magnets into models like the Mach-E, the reality of production becomes stark. The looming tariff isn't just a number, it represents a potential crisis. Factories are caught in a tug-of-war between political rhetoric and operational realities. The question arises, can these companies pivot quickly enough to alternative motor technologies? Induction or reluctance-based motors might seem like viable substitutes, but transitioning an entire fleet is no small feat. It requires a complete overhaul of factory layouts, cooling systems, and software calibrations. The clock is ticking, and the pressure is mounting. Imagine the sound of machines grinding to a halt as production schedules falter. The uncertainty in the market translates to fluctuating prices, leaving consumers in a state of confusion. A single disruption in the supply chain can lead to delays that cost thousands, not just in parts but in lost business opportunities. The automotive sector isn't alone in this struggle. Wind turbines, industrial motors, and even medical equipment are all vying for the same limited resources. As the debate over prioritization heats up, the automotive industry faces a daunting choice. Should it push for its needs, potentially sidelining public projects and defense orders? Or should it yield, risking delays in production? The stakes are high, and the implications are profound. In the short term, the solution lies not in promises of substitution but in ensuring the availability of imports. The rhetoric surrounding tariffs may apply pressure in negotiations, but it also breeds uncertainty in the market. As costs rise and logistics become more complex, the impact on consumer pricing is inevitable. The question remains, how will these companies navigate this turbulent landscape without sacrificing their production capabilities? The path forward is fraught with challenges, but there is a glimmer of hope. Some facilities are beginning to produce automotive-grade magnets, aiming for an annual capacity of around 1,000 tons. While this is a promising start, it's still a drop in the bucket compared to the needs of the industry. The hybrid model of domestic production combined with imports may be the only realistic way to stabilize the market. As the automotive giants grapple with these issues, the importance of recycling comes into play. By reprocessing existing materials, they can alleviate some of the pressure on raw material demands. However, establishing a robust recycling industry requires careful planning and investment. The clock is ticking, and the automotive world is watching closely. Will they adapt in time, or will the weight of uncertainty bring them to their knees? The previous segment highlighted the intricate relationship between production quality and the challenges of achieving desired magnetic properties in automotive components. As manufacturers navigate these hurdles, the timeline for automotive approvals stretches, creating a ripple effect throughout the industry. Now, the pressing question emerges: how can the automotive giants navigate the turbulent waters of tariffs and production schedules? The answer lies in synchronizing tariffs with a concrete industrial plan. This strategy not only fortifies bargaining power but also mitigates market shocks while expanding domestic capacity. In the short term, we can expect a tightening of inventory management. Tesla, GM, and Ford will bolster their buffer levels, opting for flexibility in supply contracts rather than pushing critical parts through high-speed cycles. This shift means a more predictable use of port and air cargo capacities for imports. If the flow remains steady, the domestic market may endure this phase with minimal price hikes. However, any disruption could lead to lengthened delivery lists and a temporary spike in used car prices. The true impact of these scenarios will unfold in the weeks ahead, revealing the stark contrast between stability and chaos. Looking ahead to the medium term, we anticipate a rise in domestic capacity and the growth of recycling initiatives. Supply contracts will evolve into flexible yet binding agreements, transforming the perception of vulnerability within the auto industry into a robust multi-source security network. While prices may settle at a higher plateau than before, the frequency of fluctuations will diminish. This newfound stability will reward the market, fostering a stronger long-term demand. In the long run, we may witness a return to architectural diversity. Some platforms could embrace magnet-free solutions, balancing materials and efficiency, while others will continue to rely on permanent magnets for their undeniable efficiency advantages. This hybrid approach will lessen dependence on any single raw material bottleneck. From the perspective of industrial policy, the aim is not to achieve complete independence in one category but to cultivate a resilient dependence in critical sectors. This vision translates into price and delivery stability within the automotive landscape, ensuring that the industry can thrive amidst uncertainty. As the stakes rise, will the automotive titans find a way to harmonize their production needs with the shifting tides of policy? The answer may redefine the future of the industry. With the automotive landscape shifting rapidly, the stakes have risen for major players. Tesla, GM, and Ford are now facing a challenging environment where U.S. tariffs hang like a storm cloud over production schedules. The debate isn't just about parts, it's about survival. Can American automakers adapt quickly enough to the threats of a 200% tariff? The clock is ticking. As negotiations unfold, factories are gearing up for a showdown. The sound of machinery echoes in the distance, a reminder that while rhetoric may be fierce, tangible results are what truly matter. It's a precarious balance between political power plays and the reality on manufacturing floors. What happens when supply gets choked? Costs soar, and delays ripple through the pipeline. Consumers expect their vehicles on time and at predictable prices, but when uncertainty creeps in, trust begins to erode. Flashback to a year ago, the smell of fresh paint and polished metal filled the factory, as workers hustled to meet rising demand. Now, they confront the icy grip of unpredictability. The once steady rhythm of production is at risk. The lasting question remains, can this pressure lead to innovation, or will it crumble the very foundation of the automotive industry? As pressure mounts, the market whispers of an architect's new strategy. Instead of relying solely on imported magnets, a hybrid supply model emerges, combining domestic production with crucial imports. How does this affect the timelines? What are the implications for electric vehicle performance? This strategic pivot could be the lifeline needed to maintain production without raising consumer prices significantly. Still, the journey won't be smooth. What about the competition for resources with wind turbines and defense contractors? As the automotive giants battle for a share of the dwindling pool of magnets, an uneasy alliance forms. There's a pressing need for a coherent procurement framework that benefits all sectors. What if the energy industry takes precedence? The automotive sector could face severe delays, sending shockwaves through supply chains and consumer markets. To survive, automakers must secure their resource contracts with renewed vigor. As uncertainty looms, the cost of credit rises, tightening cash flow and adding pressure to already strained operations. Companies must safeguard against this volatility by diversifying their supply origins and forging stable agreements. Will they be able to maintain schedule reliability, eliminating the panic of fluctuating prices? Building factories isn't just a matter of investment in bricks and mortar, it requires insistent focus on quality and stability. If the manufacturing of permanent magnets falters, delays in automotive approvals could stretch over quarters. How will the brands communicate these challenges to wary consumers? Transparency may hold the key to nurturing trust in an unstable market. But as the dust settles on intensive negotiations, a critical crossroads looms. Will the blend of strategic domestic production and imports be enough to safeguard against catastrophic delays? The fleeting window of time narrows. Can the automotive giants weave a path towards a more resilient future while grappling with the relentless pressures of tariffs? The resolution is still unwritten. The industry holds its breath. In the world of electric vehicles, did you know that a seemingly minor component can dictate the price and delivery date? The permanent magnet, hidden within the rotor, plays a crucial role. If it's absent, the entire production rhythm falters. Recently, threats of a staggering 200% tariff have escalated tensions, turning a technical issue into a widespread market jeopardy. Tesla, GM, and Ford aren't just sweating over parts costs, they're grappling with the very continuity of their auto production and consumer pricing. As Washington flexes its muscles in negotiations, factories are left to confront a harsh reality. If tensions persist, the delicate balance of the supply chain and domestic market stability could crumble. The critical question now is whether the threat of tariffs or an effective capacity plan can maintain production momentum. Permanent magnets are vital, they enable smaller, more efficient motors with reduced heat loss, directly enhancing range and acceleration. This vital component may seem minimal per vehicle, but when the supply chain falters, costs skyrocket. It's more than just the material price, it's the financial toll of downtime and delays that wreak havoc on businesses. The electric vehicle sector, particularly the powerhouse trio of Tesla, GM, and Ford, stands at a crossroads. If the flow of imports is disrupted, the fallout won't just affect parts availability, but the entire production schedule will be at risk. Tesla has embraced permanent magnet technology for its efficiency benefits, achieving an impressive balance in the performance of its electric models. Meanwhile, GM's Ultium architecture has followed suit, making similar choices to standardize its motor designs around this essential component. But here's the kicker, the ongoing tariff threat has created a dangerous dependency on a single part. The political rhetoric clashes sharply with the operational realities on factory floors, leading to wild uncertainties in both pricing and deliveries. What happens next? Alternatives like induction or reluctance-based motors might exist theoretically, but transitioning hundreds of thousands of vehicles overnight is a pipe dream. Everything from factory layouts to software calibration would need an overhaul. The harsh truth is, a sudden cut of permanent magnets won't just cripple production today, it could snowball, disrupting progress for months to come. So, what does this rigid tariff rhetoric accomplish? It intensifies pressure at the negotiation table, but also sends shockwaves through the market, where uncertainty can drive prices up drastically. Temporary government exemptions can't shield businesses from the daily turbulence that follows heightened trade tensions. Costs ripple through the supply chain. Transportation, insurance, inventory management all suffer. The accumulated price for delays could reach thousands, dwarfing the initial costs of materials. And let's not forget, the challenges extend beyond automotive. Industries like renewable energy and medical equipment suffer from the same materials bottlenecks, amplifying costs for public projects and defense contracts. With such fierce competition for limited resources, how will automotive manufacturers navigate these stormy waters? As the details of trade relations unfold, the necessity of balancing priorities becomes clear. Instead of squabbling over a shrinking share of the magnet supply, the focus should be on increasing overall capacity. A predictable framework that ensures continuous flow not only allows the automotive sector to thrive but also keeps essential public projects moving forward. A collaborative approach emerges as the most rational solution. Temporary trade exemptions could create an environment where both automotive and public interests flourish. By managing supply chain intricacies and leveraging recycling of materials, manufacturers can soften the shocks of sudden shortages. As we look toward the future, fostering domestic production capabilities for permanent magnets becomes imperative. Only through strategic investment in local infrastructures and quality standards can the electric vehicle industry secure its foothold. Failure to do so translates not just into operational chaos but millions in lost revenues and consumer trust. As the narrative shifts, clarity and stability will prove vital, and these brands need to convey a message of resilience, assuring consumers that while challenges exist, a path forward is firmly in sight. The previous discussion illuminated how a hybrid model combining domestic capacity and external supply is essential for automotive giants in navigating turbulence. As pressures mount, it's clear that recycling plays a pivotal role in alleviating raw material strain. But here's an intriguing twist: while recycling appears as a straightforward solution, the complexities it introduces could either buoy or drown the industry altogether. Imagine a world where every part, every component of your beloved electric vehicle is meticulously sourced, traced, and reprocessed. Sounds efficient, right? Yet, establishing a robust recycling framework isn't a simple endeavor. Logistics must be flawless, and quality assurance needs to be ironclad. Initially, the benefits may seem minor, only noticeable in service and spare parts. But as operations scale, this buffer could either smooth the path for Tesla, GM, and Ford, or send them spiraling into chaos as market volatility threatens their very existence. Let's break down the fundamental truth: the apparent low price of factory parts doesn't tell the whole story. The hidden costs of supply shocks can skyrocket rapidly, swallowing businesses whole. Think of transportation, insurance, and the creeping days of financing. Each tiny expense culminates into a colossal mountain of costs. A mere handful of dollars can morph into thousands when the timeline shifts unexpectedly. As delivery dates change due to these unseen pressures, consumer trust starts to wane. Who can blame them? Tesla, GM, and Ford now find themselves tangled in a web of uncertainty. The absence of clear answers, the who, what, when, only deepens this perception. How can they regain stability in such turbulent waters? A transparent calendar that clearly communicates timelines can mitigate the detrimental effects of jaw-dropping tariffs. Yet, there lies another challenge: the evolving production architecture of these companies. They seek flexibility in their operations to mitigate reliance on single components. It's a balancing act, requiring both innovation and validation. Will they succeed in safeguarding availability during this precarious transition? The answer lies not only in resilience but also in a keen understanding of the landscape ahead. As we delve deeper into potential solutions, consider this: can the industry withstand the strains of recycled materials while expanding domestic capabilities? The stakes are high, the implications of their choices ripple through the market, affecting not just production timelines but consumer confidence and pricing strategies. The clock is ticking, and the race to establish a reliable, diversified supply chain has never been more urgent. The question is, can they navigate this storm effectively, or will the waves sweep them under?